The American Revolution. Motivations for colonization. England sought to colonize to create a basis for expansion. Motivations: provide a source for raw materials to extend the new Protestant Christianity to the New World, create a basis for expansion of trade. 13 original colonies. The 13 original colonies were New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. There were 3 parts: the New England colonies, Middle colonies, and Southern colonies. Navigation Acts of 1651. Absolute power. Stated all trade between England and colonies must be held in English ships. French and Indian War and English debt. Also known as the 7 Years' War, France lost land in Canada and Spain lost land in Florida. The English won. British imposed taxes on colonists. King George III. He was a good leader, leading Britain to victory through the 7 Years' War, or French and Indian War, but towards the end of the reign, he suffered from mental illness. Proclamation of 1763. It forbade all settlement past the line drawn along the Appalachian Mountains. The colonists wanted to expand. Sugar Act. It was a revenue-raising law passed by the Parliament of Great Britain. However, many colonists resisted the acts because they considered them a violation of their rights. Stamp Act and public response. No taxation without representation. The Stamp Act imposed a direct tax on the colonists of British America. Colonists hated the act, saying it was a violation of their rights to be taxed without consent. Sons of Liberty. They were an organization that created in the colonies to protect the rights of colonists. Members: Samuel Adams, Benedict Arnold, John Hancock, Patrick Henry, James Otis, Paul Revere, James Swan. Boston Massacre. It was the killing of 5 colonists by British soldiers. Since tensions between the colonists and British had been rising, each side was ready to strike. Tea Acts, passed by Parliament on May 10, 1773, allowed East India Company to not pay taxes, angered colonists because it created a monopoly on tea. Boston Tea Party, held by Sons of Liberty on December 16, 1773, was in protest of Tea Act. Result was 342 chests of tea in the Boston Harbor. Common Sense, written by Thomas Paine, talked about the unfair rule of British King George III in Parliament, called for a revolution. Enlightenment thinkers: Ben Franklin, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine adopted scientific rationality, religious tolerance, and experimental political organization. Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson, stated that the 13 colonies are no longer under British rule. Has 5 parts: the preamble, statement of human rights, charges against human rights, charges against the king and parliament, and statement of separation and signatures. Colonist side of the Revolutionary War. Near the battlefield and supplies took a very short time to reach the armies. Led by George Washington, fought with guerrilla warfare, ended with colonists' victory. War started April 19, 1775, and ended September 3, 1783. British side of the Revolutionary War. Had more skilled troops and a huge navy, led by General William Howe. Had the Loyalists on their side, who were colonists that sided with the British. War started April 19, 1775, and ended September 3, 1783. British lost the war. Treaty of Paris, signed on September 3, 1783. Britain recognized the United States of America as an independent country. Articles of Confederation was the first Constitution of the United States. The Articles were replaced because they didn't give enough power to the central government. The Constitution. The Constitution was written to replace the Articles of Confederation and to create a strong central government. It greatly improved over the Articles of Confederation and gave the USA the government it needed. Election of George Washington. elected on April 30th, 1789, and his term ended on March 4th, 1797. He was chosen because he had led the American army to victory over the British.